a formidable government party which is both popular and a powerful unifier and amalgamator of the diverse political and social forces within the historical bloc. These entities are obliged to meticulously prepare themselves structurally so that, working in conjunction with the entire Venezuelan nation, they can decisively move towards armed struggle if such a measure becomes necessary, in order to valiantly defend this sacred land, to steadfastly protect our cherished people, and to proudly uphold our long and dignified history of unwavering dignity. I never thought, not in my wildest dreams, that I would ever have to utter these profound and weighty words. But the current historical circumstances, driven by an undeniable sense of profound responsibility, truly compel us to do so. Filled with an intense passion, there exists a dedicated people, a formidable government party which is both popular and a powerful unifier and amalgamator of the diverse political and social forces within the historical bloc. These entities are obliged to meticulously prepare themselves structurally so that, working in conjunction with the entire Venezuelan nation, they can decisively move towards armed struggle if such a measure becomes necessary, in order to valiantly defend this sacred land, to steadfastly protect our cherished people, and to proudly uphold our long and dignified history of unwavering dignity. I never thought, not in my wildest dreams, that I would ever have to utter these profound and weighty words. But the current historical circumstances, driven by an undeniable sense of profound responsibility, truly compel us to do so. This situation regrettably grants the powerful North American empire the immense and unchecked authority to threaten the sovereign peoples of the entire world, and specifically to threaten the peaceful and resilient people of Venezuela. We are, at our very core, a profoundly peaceful people, inherently noble, incredibly friendly, and remarkably affable in our interactions with all nations and individuals. The third crucial task is to meticulously define, together with all our dedicated people, the precise steps that need to be thoroughly prepared, both efficiently and rapidly, to effectively move in strict accordance with the country's overarching strategic concept towards engaging in armed struggle in the steadfast defense of our national sovereignty and enduring peace. It's truly that simple and straightforward. How am I prepared on such and such street? How are we prepared in such and such community? 260,000 streets. And we have to be able to say, sooner rather than later, in the coming weeks, are we ready to mobilize? Ready and prepared on the 260,000 streets to move to armed struggle whenever necessary. Local, regional, or even national armed struggle, depending entirely on the level of aggression from imperialism, depending completely on the level of imperialist madness.
Coming from a drug cartel is no different than Al-Qaeda, and they'll be treated as such as they were in international law.
Was there an imminent kinetic attack that warranted military action?
She's asking a question.
Okay.
Got it.
You spoke today at the graduation ceremony about how Fort Benning forged you as a person. What does Fort Benning mean to you?
Being a small part of a long legacy, that it was generations of soldiers before me that were willing to go through Fort Benning, that had other options and chose the prime of their life to do tough things and then go around the world and defend us at the cost of their life. I'm no different than any one of them. I showed up here a lowly second lieutenant. Not that second lieutenants are lowly, they're not. But a brand new second lieutenant. And this place helped forge me. And the next class behind me, and the next class behind me, and this class right here, and the classes that come through in the future. And that's why we thought the name Fort Benning is important. Not because we don't like Hal Moore. Hal Moore's a hell of a warrior. And we want to honor him any way we can. But the legacy of my grandfather, my father, I did, the next, maybe my sons, your daughters, whomever would go through Fort Benning, it's a connection to the past. People are drawn to that and tied to that. It's a throughput, a through line on the warrior ethos. And so it's as President Trump says, it's common sense to do stuff like this.
Mr. Secretary, how did you determine the 11 people on the boat were narco-terrorists?
We knew exactly who they were, exactly what they were doing, what they represented, and why they were going where they were going.
How do you know that?
Why would I tell you that?
Can you clarify
We have
something?
plenty of ways to determine how we know who is who.
Can you clarify something you said at lunch? You said you, at the top, have the authority to go to authorize a target on a drug vessel, but that could be shifted down? What do you mean by that?
It's a simple, if you understand the military, you understand that decisions about strikes can be made at different levels, and you give authorities based on the strategic implications. Sometimes those authorities are held higher because they have strategic implications. Whenever possible, you want to push those authorities down to those making those decisions. So because of the strategic implications, those decisions will be made at higher levels, but eventually, we have great trust in our Navy, in our special operators, in our Army, and our Air Force and others to make those decisions, and they will.
So eventually,
And they'll make them effectively.
Eventually, it'll be authorized at a lower level. Is that what you're saying? You're giving commanders at a lower level the.
I didn't say anything like that. I said we smoked a drug boat, and there's 11 narco terrorists at the bottom of the ocean. And when other people try to do that, they're going to meet the same fate. Thank you all. One more question.
When should we expect the global force posture review?
It's a good question. It is in process. It's important, and it's going to be predicated on the threats we see around the world, and the answer's in the name and how we want to be postured properly for them going forward. Thanks for joining us here.
Fort Benning question?
You got a Fort Benning question?
Yes. What does it mean to come back here and visit troops here today?
It's neat. It's a little bit of a coming home. I mean, I only did 4 months here. So many other people did so much more than that. But to just see the buildings, see the troops, see myself with that gold bar here, again, it reminds you that you're just one small piece. But you add all those pieces together, and that's the face of freedom. That's the deterrence that President Trump talks about. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Department of Justice and State Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. To date, the DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself, which represents a primary source of income for the deadly cartels based in Venezuela and Mexico. Cocaine is often laced with fentanyl, resulting in the loss and destruction of countless American lives. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. Yet Maduro's reign of terror continues. He is one of the largest narco traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security. Therefore, we've doubled his reward to $50 million. Under President Trump's leadership, Maduro will not escape justice, and he will be held accountable for his despicable crimes. If you have any information to bring this criminal to justice, call 1-202-307-4228 or go online.